it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am here for the August Clique Kits Pep Rally. So I am sharing the first layout that I am making with my new August kit. And over in the Clique Kits Facebook group, I asked everyone kind of what they wanted to see from this kit, if there was anything specific that everybody wanted to see. And so a couple of different people requested that I use the printables that come with the kit that you can get, you can just download these off of the website. And so that's what I'm using today along with my kit. And so what I was just showing you there is you can see I printed them on white cardstock, and then I also printed them on vellum. So I'm going to be using them for kind of two different things. So right now I am taking my circle punch and I am punching out all of these little circles that were included in that kit. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab these little epoxy kind of covers. And I picked these up just at Hobby Lobby. They come with like 3 sheets of them, so they come with a ton. And you can make these little shapes that look kind of like flare badges, except that they are flat. And so I am going to take all 3 of those circles and make them into these kind of like homemade little flare badges. And that was something that having these printables made it super, super easy to go ahead and do that. Because those circles fit my punch perfectly, and then I just plopped those clear epoxy stickers over the top, and I was done with that part. So then I am taking a template for a little bit, a little like a banner. That's the word, banner. And I am cutting that out of 3 of the different little patterns that came on this cut apart sheet. So I am going to create a banner that's going to run across the bottom of my 12 by 12 layout. And so I am using 3 of the pattern squares that were on the printable sheet. And then I'm also using 2 different pattern papers, and I pulled these out of the 6x6 paper pad because I do have that already in my stash. It didn't come as part of this kit. But the patterns that I have chosen to work with, the scale is a little bit smaller, but the same pattern is in the Clique kits this month. So if you only get the kit, there's still enough pattern papers where you could use the same exact idea. You would just have a little bit bigger scale on your little banners. So I'm going to have 5 of these little banner pieces that I am cutting out. And so I'm cutting the ones out of the pattern paper, the 6x6 paper pad, as well as those 3 that I traced on the back of this printables page. And these are going to all go together to make a border around the bottom of my layout. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this little strip of pattern paper, and this also came from one of the papers in the kit. And I am mounting it on a piece of black cardstock because I want it to have a little tiny black border along the bottom, and this is going to go on the top portion of my layout. And so the photo you saw that I'm working with is from when we were just on vacation in Chicago. They have this kind of rainbow ice cream where you get, I think it's 5 different flavors all in one ice cream cup, and I have a few different pictures of this. So you've probably seen me work with a similar photo before that was for my daughter's album, and then this one's going to go in my son's album. So the pictures are not identical, but they are similar, and they're going to tell a similar story for each one of my kids. But the page itself is completely different. So I'm putting that strip that I just created on the black, with the little black border, on top of this pale blue stripe, and that's going to serve as my background paper. And then I'm also going to take this strip of the polka dot pattern paper, and these are all from the Summer Lights collection. So even if you don't get the Clique kits, this is a collection that is very readily available and out there for this summer. It is from Pink Paisley, and it's called Summer Lights. So even if you don't get a Clique kit, you can definitely find all of these beautiful pattern papers if there's something that you want to work with. And so I'm mounting that strip also on a piece of black cardstock, and then I'm going to put that same thicker stripe pattern behind each of those 2 edges to give it a little bit more kind of layering and dimension. And I'm going to make it a very thin layer of that paper, so it just looks like it's peeking out from around the edge because it is going to be a stripe on stripe. It works in this case because that stripe is really thick and my background paper is very thin. So it's 2 different scales of paper, which I have no problem layering directly together. Now, if they had the exact same scale, so the same size stripes, then I wouldn't necessarily have them laying on top of each other like this. But in this case, it works. So I'm going to have this as a strip where it's going to kind of serve as a shelf for my photo, and it's also going to serve as somewhere for my banners to go. So I'm going to take these 5 little banners that I created with the printables and the pattern paper, and I backed them with black cardstock, and I'm going to run them along the bottom of this strip. And so then I'm also taking this little card, and I printed this card out. This is one of the printables that I printed on vellum because I knew that I wanted it to overlay on top of my photo. And that vellum gives me a look where it is basically see-through, so I can still see the essence of the photo, but I still get the detail of the words. And it does have this pale yellow heart in the background. So I'm going to take my stitching tool, and this is from Amy Tan, and I'm going to punch some holes that go all the way around the outline of that heart. And then I'm going to go back with some black embroidery thread and add some stitching. So this is going to serve 2 functions for me. It's going to give me a pop of black on top of my photo that goes along with all the other pops of black on my page. And it's also going to hold that vellum in place, so I don't have to worry about any kind of adhesive or how it's going to show through on my photo. That's taken care of for me because I've just done the stitching instead. And so to tie it all together, I'm going to take some more black embroidery thread, and I'm going to add some stitches up in this top right hand corner. And I'm just making a series of 3 kind of cross stitch X's. And that's going to kind of be a great way to tie in my stitching from the photo to the rest of my layout, but also to create a little bit of texture and kind of just a pop of black. When I'm using so many bright colors, I like to have that little pop of black because it really makes everything stand out and kind of offsets the design that you're working on. And so I'm just finishing up kind of knotting the back here of that part. And I don't usually show my stitching on screen, but it's something people always request, so I just kind of stuck it on there and left it on there this time. So then I have my photo, and I know that it's going to go off on that left-hand side, and you can see that I've added my baker's twine to the bottom to make my banner have kind of that loopy detail. And then I'm going to pull out these freckled fawn words, and they're scripty words, and it's in this orange color that matches my layout perfectly, and it also matches the orange ice cream layer in my photo. And it just says summer vibes, and this was an add-on to the kit, so it didn't come in the main kit, but you could choose to get those phrases. And anytime I can get those acrylic words from Freckled Fawn, I always pick them up because they're super usable and really, really fun. So now what I'm doing is I'm kind of scattering some of the other embellishments. So I've grabbed the 2 pieces of flare that came in the main kit, and then I'm also grabbing a bunch of different buttons, and these are just buttons that I pulled out of my stash. So I have some purple glitter buttons and then some pink and pale yellow buttons. And I'm I'm going to scatter those throughout that banner. And then I've also added a couple in that top right-hand corner. And then I've taken my homemade flare badges that we made with those epoxy stickers in the beginning, and I'm also scattering those. So I have one in the top right, I have one off of that circle on my photo, and then I have one in the bottom right-hand corner that's the yellow with the sunglasses. And then I went ahead and grabbed the sequins from this kit, and I kind of scattered those all throughout my pattern paper banner on the bottom, as well as next to my 2 different little embellishment clusters. And that is basically going to do it for this layout. So I hope this gave you some ideas on how to use the Clique Kit's printables, and that you will print them out and get them on your pages because they are really, really fun to work with. And we'll see you again soon. Bye!